Guys, Bespoke Post is a monthly membership club delivering awesome boxes of top shelf goods from under the radar brands every month. Bespoke Post introduces new, cool products to their members. Everything from outdoor gear, barware, home and kitchen goods, clothing, and more, all based on your preferences. Now, it's free to join. You can skip a month anytime. Every box has at least $70 of retail value, but only costs you $45. I just got my first box right here. You know what I think this is? I had a friend that got a knife. I'm hoping I got my knife. Let's see what this is. Look at that. I got the knife. All right. One cocktail smoker. Oh, I got a bag. Yes. I need this. I need this for Submission Underground. When I show up to the fights, all I have to have is a checkbook. I like to put in a bag so nobody knows what I'm carrying around. Oh, look at that. You'll get a box assigned to you each month based on the quiz you take right when you sign up. And before it's shipped, you'll get to preview what's inside of it and decide one of three things. Keep it, swap it for a different box, or skip the month entirely for no charge. You only pay for what you want, and the box lineup changes every month. If you want to check out one of these cool boxes, head to the link in my description. Use my code Chael20 to get 20% off your first box. bspk.me/Chael Sonnen. Nate Diaz. And you know, the sport's more fun with Nate. Can we at least all agree on that? Whether you like Nate or you don't like him, can we at least agree the sport is more fun when the Diazes are around? I digress, but Nate come out, and we've got a lot of Nate lately. Used to not be able to get a Nate interview. You couldn't see Nate fight. Now he just fought. He's calling for another fight this year, and he's given a lot of interviews. Not to mention his brother's coming up, and right, we're having a little bit of fun, finally. Nate came out, he said, my fight with Conor McGregor kicked off the super fight era. Is he right? Because he makes a very good point timeline-wise. And that was a super fight. And by the way, why don't we bring back the super fight? I mean, that was a real thing. We brought this BMF business, but then we decided we're going to do the BMF, and it's one night only, and there's going to be no lineage, and they're not going to defend. That's the part of that idea we need to rethink, because the idea on its face was brilliant. It was an absolutely fantastic idea. It was a media sensation. And you wouldn't believe how many media reporters who have to be straight men in a suit, sit in a studio working for an organization. That was as close to getting to curse on the air as they ever got to, and they were getting away with it. Well, they're going to fight for the BMF. Like laughing with other people in the studio in the control room because you said BMF, but the F actually stands for. I mean, everybody had fun with it. There wasn't a news reporter, a sports guy out there that would not bring up the BMF belt just for the childish factor that they knew what the F stood for, even though they were given an acronym. I mean, this was a piece of marketing genius, but it created an opportunity. It created a huge opportunity. Now there's another belt. There's a reason to be here. There's a goal and a dream with recognition. But we need lineage to it. That belt needs to be defended. But now I just want to talk about, now that I've proven my point, and I believe successfully, super fights, guys. We don't have to bring anything up. The super fight belt has been here since 1993. The super fight belt precedes Zuffa, which precedes WME. It was back here in the SEG days. Why did it get retired? I think that Diaz makes an excellent point. I do think that him and Conor was a super fight. Of course it was. And it should have been for the super fight belt. And the super fight belt does not come with a lineage, or at least doesn't have to. The super fight belt can be one night. This is a super fight. We're going to recognize it with a belt. Perhaps that belt doesn't get defended. It can, but perhaps it doesn't. And I would argue the same thing for BMF. And I think we need to clear this up. I really do. There needs to be another BMF fight. Absolutely there does. Does there have to be a lineage? I would prefer there were, which means that Masvidal puts the belt up. I would prefer that. But let's just say we find two BMFs and they're in the heavyweight division. Why can't we run them out? It's not a heavyweight BMF. We just do BMF again, by example, and it's one night only. Fine. I suggest we just call it a super fight. I don't think that we need the acronym. I don't think we have to have the fun with it. As successful as it was, maybe Dana's right, but that was a one-night thing. Bring the super fight belt back. Bring that opportunity back. Let's figure out later if that's going to be defended or if it's going to be recognized in one night. But there needs to be a reason that we're out here. Look, fighting goes in order of three. Specifically, grudge, Second, competitive architecture. Third, title. The boys don't have any real thing to fight about here. Throw a belt down in between them. Let them fight over this. It works. As a guy who dedicated his life to get that belt, it works. You will change your lifestyle. You will change your pursuit. You will change the way you look at competition when that belt's... All right, great. Everybody gets it. But if you don't have a personal beef, the fight doesn't make sense due to competitive architecture where they both got these beautiful resumes and you just got to see these two wonderful athletes go out there and clash, and there's no belt. What are we doing here? It's hard. It just makes it hard. Why make things hard? Make it easy and make it more exciting. And I do feel at times that promoters miss the absolute motivation and drive that level of recognition brings. The athletes want to be recognized. They may not come out and say it that clearly, but make no mistake, they have egos too. And they would like to be recognized for their hard work. They are willing to sacrifice. They're willing to claw. They're willing to sleep on couches. They're willing to not know where their next meal is. They're willing to put life and resume building on hold. It is that important to them. But the more pieces of recognition we can have, and in this industry it's done in the form of a belt, the better. More opportunity, the better. I was just listening to what Nate said. I took it a little bit of a different direction, but I do think that Nate's right. I do think, historically speaking, this big fight started popping out. I love the word super fight. I love it. I hate the word money fight. I hate when guys call for a money fight, when they say I'm not going to do something unless it's a money fight or this. Shut up. That's never worked. Nobody's ever given a goddamn, ever, 0 times through history, of what a purse was for a fight. It's never mattered. It's never mattered to the point that Dana doesn't even disclose it. The commission will something, but you could then have LOIs with the company. You could have back-end participation through the organization that has nothing to do with it, and Dana protects that. He doesn't go out and share it to the world, but there's also no marketing arm or benefit for sharing it to the world. Unless you want your cousins and some aunt and uncles who you've never met and all your high school classmates calling up and asking you to borrow some dough. Believe me, if that sold, if that draw, if that worked, it wouldn't be protected. It doesn't, so it's not. Belts do. Belts do work. I don't want to hear about a money fight, but I wouldn't mind hearing about a super fight. I would not mind that. I'd like to see that brought back. I like what Nate said, but Nate's also in an interesting category where whatever Nate does is going to be a big deal. It doesn't have to be competitive architecture. It doesn't have to be grudge, and it doesn't have to be a belt. He's the one guy that's found a way through the system. Conor McGregor, quite frankly, is the other. There's no third. There's no third. If you wanted to do it in order and you had to have a third, you'd put Masvidal in there. Masvidal is a massive star, whatever he is going to do. He looks as though he's pretty locked and trying to find himself a way back to the championship. I love that and I respect it. I just would remind him he doesn't have to. He's in this very weird area where he is now a star. And it goes in that order. It's Conor followed by Nate. If I'm wrong, it's Conor followed by Masvidal. But those are your 3 most bankable stars in MMA right now. Diaz, McGregor, Masvidal. I'd like to see the super fight come back. I will admit it. I want to see more than anything. I want to see the money fight go away. And I would like to see a recognition for it in the form of a belt.